Good evening, everyone, and welcome here for round 15 of the 2022 championship season for the Sony Cup Series. We're here at Chicagoland. 2 weeks off. It was a pretty long break, all things considered, and the garage area is a rumbling. Silly season is a mess down there in the garage area. Drivers trying to find themselves a ride, and many of them looking for seats for 2022, and some of them have already found them a seat. Qualifying in 5th position for today's race, Samuel England will not be returning to Red Bull Racing and instead will be loaned over from Red Bull Racing to go and drive for Joseph Shrigley Racing in the second car alongside Jeff James for next season. In that Red Bull car is going to be the driver starting in 9th position. Dom Capps will not return to Martin Motorsports. They are going to be signing a new driver drive for that organization alongside of Vince Freeze. The silly season, it's just not been like it normally has. With the announcement of the charter system, a lot of teams are trying to grab charters. Big rumor is the Allen Family Racing Team will not be returning to next season. You can follow all the silly season headlines. There's bound to be more stuff announced already down in the Discord down below. You can check it in the comments or in the description. And we'll get you some more information as those news headlines continue to follow through. Chicagoland is going to be unlike most events. Usually we do 150 miles. The FBRL and the Sony Cup Series are going to be experimenting with the race length. Instead of 150 miles, they're extending the race distance. 200 miles for today's race. They have talked about for the Daytona 500, Indianapolis, and Darlington for next season to all be 500 and 400 mile races. Those will be the Triple Crown events, along with special event entries allowed for those 3 events alone. Silly season continues to be a hot topic up for debate, but we have 12 races to go to decide who is going to be crowned champion of the 2022 championship season. Jesse Turner is a ways back in the championship standings, but if he gets on a tear, he could make up points and be in the fight for this. Top 15 in the point standings entering this race are 100 points between each other, and that's only 2 races of a gap, and you can make that up. Kurtis, though, very close to fighting for the title. A win would do justice for him. Same with Dylan Schwallenberg and Alex Piñaco, Cody Lamas. They're all in the top 6 and championship contenders for today's race. Turner leads them to green. Onto the back straightaway for the first time today here at Chicagoland. Chicagoland is usually a night race the last couple of events, but we're racing in the daytime. Look at Dylan Schwallenberg all the way to the inside. They're 3 wide for the race lead. Samuel England down there as well. Cars nearly grazing the outside wall. Kurtis gives way. Dylan Schwallenberg takes the race lead. 134 laps for today. 200 miles. It's going to be very interesting to see how these drivers adapt because they're so used to 100 laps on a 1.5 mile racetrack. Samuel England, loaned off from Red Bull Racing. You know, he's got a little chip on his shoulder, and the caution flag is already out. Somebody has been involved in an accident. Not entirely sure. We're hearing the accident happen mid-pack. Jeffrey White, wow, they're 5 wide off of turn 2, and Cole Baker got spun onto the back straightaway. Lucky he was able to save it. Little to no damage there for car 99, and everyone got by clean. We only did 2 laps of racing, and it looks like we have some takers down on pit road. A lot of drivers staying out. Samuel England, Cody Lamas there on pit road. There's Alex Piñaco, Peter Onjak. See Chris Dodd back there, Stephen Paul III, Jacob Hart. A handful of drivers choosing to come down pit road. Top 22 chose to stay out. So that's going to shake up a little things in terms of strategy and the placement for some drivers. We didn't run that many laps under green, so I'm not sure what the difference will be for pitting there. But they got 4 fresh tires for everyone on back, 28th on back. It into Schwallenberg, Kurtis, Weeks, Turner, Marchese, Dom Caps, Matt Rodriguez. That's Zachary DeLalo. Not entirely sure how. Let me see. Oh, Zachary Delio. All season long, I have gotten so many comments about pronouncing drivers' names wrong. Ryan Griffin. Big news headlines that we even forgot to mention. A lot of stuff has happened. Ryan Griffin, you know, he announced earlier this season that he would not be back in 2023. Well, a very disappointing run at disappointing run at Bristol saw Griffin drop outside the top 20 in the driver's standings. A frustrated Griffin made a deal with CM Racing to see him only run part-time for the rest of the season. So this 3-car is going to have a rotation of drivers driving the 3-car. The Can-Am Chevrolet, driven by a Napa Truck Series regular, he's inside the top 10, fighting to get into the top 5. How about Dom Caps and Anthony Marchese? They just blew off the doors of Dejon Weeks and Dylan Schwallenberg. And Dom Caps ran really well here for Martin Motorsports a couple of seasons ago. And Dom Caps has got a little pep in his step as well with that new contract signed for next season. Zachary DeLalio in the 3-car, moving his way up in the top 5. We're hearing that Dom Caps has got up against the outside wall. There he is again. Caps was moving his way to the front and has pancaked the outside wall, and the handling on that car is slowly deteriorating in that car 15. Meanwhile, Anthony Marchese is moving his way towards the front. DJ Kurtis is out front and leading to this race. He's got a good distance, but Marchese has reeled that gap. Dejon Weeks and Zachary Delio in car 3, moving his way into 4th position. What a run for today's race in that 3-car in the top 5. Matt Rodriguez, Richard Johnson, James Shelley, Dylan Schwallenberg, and Vince Freeze in the top 10. I had to take the moment to try and figure out how to pronounce this guy's name, because he is surprising everyone on the racetrack right now to be in the top 5 for CM Racing, in the leading CM car and the Chevy driver, Zachary D. Leo. That's how I got it. That's the name that I was told. And, well, he's racing with some of the legends of the sport. Matt Rodriguez going by him for 4th position. Richard Johnson looking to the inside to break into the top 5. Now Johnson, Rodriguez, Weeks, they're all championship contenders trying to win the championship for 2022. And Zachary's out there just trying to get experience. And D. Leo is out there performing masterfully at this point. And really, there's not a whole lot I've checked in his career to show that he's performed this well in the FBRL. So to jump to the Cup Series in his debut and to be this fast is quite remarkable. Jeffrey White's back here in 7th with Schwallenberg, Freeze, and Shelley, the top 10. Then Damax, Bassinger, Benyako, England, and Lamas. Now remember, Lamas in England pitted a lap 2, so they had to come from a ways back. Dylan Young, Peter Ronjak, Zayden Davidson, Smith, and Shrigley, the top 20, completing lap 20 of the race. This is the gap from 1st, 2nd, back to 3rd. Monster Energy Racing have brought some really good cars to see the 30 and the 47 be inside the top 5 and to be in 3rd and 4th position, but Marchese and Kurtis, they are pushing each other, aren't they? 0.3 of a second faster than Dejon Weeks and the rest of the field behind them. Anthony Marchese, you think he's excited about today's race? He's got a fast Toyota. And, well, Anthony Marchese has not performed as well as his teammates of Dylan Schwallenberg and Matt Rodriguez, but all of Rodriguez Racing are inside the top 8. And Marchese's looking for the lead on Kurtis. Looking deep in the pack, Jesse Turner, along with Jeff James and a couple of others. The outside wall has been very detrimental for many drivers. And that can hurt your race pace drastically if you hit the outside wall. And, well, last year's champion and the pole sitter for today's race, Jesse Turner, has just not been in great form like he was last season. 10 wins last season in a 30-race schedule. We're on race 15, and Turner has yet to put up a win in the win bracket. And many of his fellow peers in the garage area believe that it's only a matter of time until Jesse Turner finally reaches victory lane again. It's been 14 races, and, well, 14 races may not seem like a lot for many people, but for the guy that won 10 times in a 30-race season with the championship to boot, this has been a very poor season so far, as Turner's fighting to stay in the top 30. Someone's blowing up in the front. Best stage on Weeks. Weeks in the 30 from third place has blew the engine. Monster Energy Racing have looked very quick for this race weekend and was in the top 5. He's going to be the first retiree of the race. And if Dejon Weeks doesn't have any good luck, he's got bad luck. And, well, Dejon Weeks, this is not the race that he needed. He needed to make up points in the championship fight. He needed another solid result today, and he's going to finish out of the race. We're getting told that Tip Foster has a cut tire in the 96 JSR car. Foster was running in the 22nd position. This team is fighting hard to try and earn the final charter for next season, and this is going to put them a lap down early in the race. Well, that engine failure for Dejon Weeks has promoted the rookie on debut, Zachary DeLello, up into third place, being chased by Richard Johnson. And what a run he is having so far. Very impressive, but way out front by about 4.5 seconds now, it is still Kurtis and Marchese. The problems for the 96 team allows the 80 of Angiato to move their way up another position into 23rd. Driven by Edward Ziemba this race, these part-time cars for this season are fighting hard with each other to try and earn max points. And right now, 20 points on the board for Car 80 in their pursuit to try and earn that final charter for 2023. An early unscheduled pit stop by John Arton, the 43 team, may be a problem for that team as well. Allen Family Racing Team, the more we get told, they will not be back for 2023. It's all a matter of what the team plans on doing with their organization, but word has it that AFRT will not be full-time next season. However, official word at this point has not been said by Andreas Allen for that organization. Zachary Delio in Car 3 has been fighting with his teammate Alex Vignaco. Delio fell from 3rd all the way down to 8th position and is looking like he may fall outside the top 10. Maybe burnt the tires off of that 3 car a little bit. England and Lamas only by 2 laps of fresher tires than the rest of the field, but that's 2 extra laps. England and Lamas knocking on the door there, and there's Tip Foster with fresh tires in that 96, trying to get his lap back, but he's got a long ways to go. The race leader is still Kurtis, continuing to dominate this race. Jeffrey White's moved his way into 3rd position over Johnson and Matthew Rodriguez, but the leaders are now in lap traffic. Marchese continues to pressurize Kurtis as pit stops loom ever so closer. Teammate for Kurtis, there's Baker. Baker gonna fall 1 lap down, and well, as a teammate, you'd never want to get lapped by your teammate. And well, Kurtis is in the lead. Cole Baker is running in 35th position. And Baker hasn't really had the best season in that 3rd car at Cybertron Motorsports. And Marchese is going to take advantage of it to the inside of DJ Kurtis. And new race leader is car 54, Anthony Marchese. Problems possibly for Stephen Pollard III. He has been on pit road for quite some time and looks like they're probably repairing damage. Possibly a flat tire for the 21 team. Pit stops are slowly happening. Zachary Delio in the 3 car was on pit road. Jesse Turner, the defending champion, coming down pit road as well. There was Vince Freeze, Richard Johnson, Jake Baskinger, the championship leader. Here comes the leaders. Anthony Marchese and DJ Kurtis going to make the dive to pit road. Here comes Anthony Marchese. Marchese leaving pit road. What a great stop by Marchese. He got a whale of a jump on DJ Kurtis. Anthony Marchese's big lead was lost when Daniel Bouchard came to pit road and slowed up Anthony Marchese in turn 4, lost all of Marchese's momentum, and allow DJ Kurtis to gain it all back and take the race lead. But here comes Anthony Marchese fighting back. He lost all of his momentum on that front straightaway when Daniel Bouchard pitted right in front of him. Wow, that pit crew did such a good job for Anthony Marchese, just for Marchese to be stuck behind a car pitting in front of him. And now it's mano a mano yet again. He's stuck behind Daniel Bouchard yet again. Bouchard returning to the race from pit road. Here comes Kurtis. He's going to try and make some sort of move on Marchese. Now, Anthony Marchese is not entirely used to leading a Sony Cup Series race. Marchese is a Hardee's National Series champion from 2020, and he knows how to perform well over there in the Hardee's National Series. Moved up to the Sony Cup Series in the big ride at Rodriguez Racing. However, in that third seat, we know how the third seat is usually not the best seat to be in. Cole Baker can attest to that for Cybertron Motorsports. And for Marchese to be leading, it's a pretty big surprise, all things considering. But returning to the summer break, you know, to see guys like Zachary Delio for Griffin's ride to be in the 6th position, that's big for him. And then for Vince Freeze to be in 10th position. What a day for Vince Freeze, the Talladega winner, running inside the top 10. Martin Motorsports making a step forward over those off weeks. Benyako, England, Shelley, Lamas, and Peter Onjak. What a race for Peter Onjak in 15th position. Joseph Shrigley in 16th position with Dylan Young. Davidson, Dodd, and Harpo, the top 20. Will take you through the lead lap cars. Charles Sanford, Charlie Smith, John Art. Oh, the 96 getting roughed up by the 80 of Edward Ziamba. Now, the 96 is yet to pit again on old tires. Had to make that unscheduled pit stop for a flat tire. That's Tim Foster back in 25th. Jacob Hart in 26th position, just in front of the leaders. Marchese and Kurtis, they have been the class of the field, but adjustments are going to have to be made. A second pit stop will be done today, and they're going to have to stay on top of it. Matthew Rodriguez, Jeffrey White, and Richard Johnson are all in this pack. Just a few seconds behind the race leader. Here comes Kurtis again, down to the inside. DJ Kurtis versus Anthony Marchese at Chicagoland. And it looks like Kurtis is going to get him here. Kurtis is a big, experienced driver of the series, possibly top 5, if not the best driver on the grid. And Kurtis does the slide job, but it's going to allow Anthony Marchese to get the run to the inside, but Kurtis holds him off. CM Racing yet again are looking very good. 6th place for Eric DeMax. Dylan Schwallenberg in position currently to try and take the championship lead. He's still just a little behind Baskinger. Only 2 points back to Baskinger at this point in the race. And Kurtis is closing ever so more in the championship battle by leading this race. Baskinger ahead of Zachary Delio in car 3, and Alex Benyako in 10th. And I apologize if I am not saying Zachary's name correctly. It's the first time I'm pronouncing his name, and the fact that he's up here where I have to talk about him is quite remarkable, because I have looked at his stats in the FBRL, and, well, he is... Oh! A problem! Problem on the front straightaway! Looks like there's not an issue here. No caution flag is out, but I've seen smoke on the front straightaway. Battling for 11th place, Samuel England passes Vince Freeze, and Freeze in the 25 gets hit by James Shelley, and Freeze does a 360 and pancakes the outside wall. Freeze was running in 11th position, got passed by 11th by England, and Shelley hit him, spun him around, and no caution flag came out for that. That's very unfortunate for Vince Freeze. Freeze is now down to 19th. He's only lost a couple of places on the racetrack, but the handling on that 25 Martin Motorsports Ford has got to be hurting now. And, well, as that car was really good, now it's going to be pretty mediocre for the rest of the day. The leaders continue to race with each other at the front of the pack. Kurtis is going after Anthony Marchese here. Kurtis with a big move to the inside. Looked like he was going to try and take that position away. But Marchese with the defense against Kurtis, it's very impressive. Anthony Marchese has not been at the front of the field since probably the Daytona 500. And, well, racing with DJ Kurtis, you're always learning a little bit of something when you're racing against the best of the best. Marchese is very excited about next year driving for Red Bull Racing, and they'll be getting Honda engines with Honda support for next season. Martin Motorsports, we were talking about them. They're also very excited. Mitsubishi will be joining the Sony Cup Series. So 7 engine manufacturers next season. Next season continues to be very much a talking point in terms of the garage area. But the talking point is at the front of the pack. With Kurtis and Marchese, they continue to trade the lead. They're 3 seconds ahead of Rodriguez and 6 seconds ahead of Richard Johnson. And Marchese nosing out ahead to take the lead back on lap 80. We talked about him a little bit during the break, during the summer break. Richard Johnson, the fact that the 2-time champion, a seasoned veteran, returning for full-time competition last year, had not been in a full-time ride since 2016. The fact that Richard is in the championship hunt and is ahead of his teammate Dejon Weeks in the point standings now with him out of the race. Richard could be a realistic title contender for the 2022 championship, and it would be remarkable if Johnson can go back to winning a championship. Many people call him the king because of what he did in the early seasons. He accomplished so much so early, they just called him the king. You could not beat him on a given day, and now he's still showing up to the track and still very competitive, running in 4th position. The engine on the 47, just as we start talking about him, the second Monster Energy Racing car has let go as well. Monster Energy Racing, whatever they brought to the track for engines, it has not worked. The reliability on these engines was not there today. Monster Energy Racing, that is all their cars out of the race with engine problems. Stopped on the back straightaway. No yellow flag either. Richard Johnson's going to finish 41st. He looked like he was on par for another solid race today, and he's going to join his teammate out of the race. Unbelievable. Cannot believe we just started talking about Richard Johnson, and his championship bid just took a big beating in a matter of laps. Now, Richard Johnson, I need to try and pull up the championship list and look at the point standings, because the point standings entering the race was very tight against all the championship contenders. 33 points back was Richard Johnson, and 21 points back was Dejon Weeks. Jake Baskinger is in 8th position. There's Vince Freeze returning to the race. Pit stops are looming. Gonna be coming up soon. There's Jake Baskinger getting passed by Alex Bianco. Baskinger is in 9th position, scoring 34 points. Wow, so it's looking like both Weeks and Johnson at this point could be leaving Chicagoland 60 points back or more. Pit stops continue to close in. Dylan Schwallenberg, though, has emerged as now 3rd place. The next challenger to Marchese and Kurtis. Marchese and Kurtis have been so good, but Dylan Schwallenberg looks like he could take the championship lead at this point because he is gaining a lot more points on Baskinger. Dylan Schwallenberg has never led the Sony Cup Series Championship, but as we close in on 30 laps to go, he's looking good at this point in the race to do that, and he may even be eyeing up a possible win. He's closing the gap on Marchese and Kurtis. It's good to see Kurtis racing for both of their race cars looking competitive. With 30 laps to go, Lamas has the better car at this point. Jeffrey White not really fighting him. Lamas into 6th, Jeffrey White back to 7th. Kurtis Racing and CM Racing looking very competitive this afternoon. Zachary Delio is outside of the top 10 now, but all the Chevys for Kurtis and CM are looking good this afternoon. DJ Kurtis is on pit road. Jake Baskinger's on pit road as well, but Kurtis pitting from 2nd position. A lot of the leaders are now coming down pit road. How is this going to fare? DJ Kurtis doing the undercut on Anthony Marchese. Marchese has never won a Sony Cup Series race. He's looking to do that this afternoon. He's going to have to beat the best of the best. Two-time champion DJ Kurtis trying to outfox Marchese. Anthony Marchese leaving pit road. Where is Kurtis in the 19? There he is in the 19. Kurtis to the outside around the racetrack. And the undercut by 1 lap. Worked. What a stop by the Cybertron Motorsports team. And DJ Kurtis is back out front again. Somehow, Dylan Schwallenberg almost took the lead. There's Kurtis, and Schwallenberg is going to be entering the race again ahead of Anthony Marchese. So Dylan Schwallenberg is now the new second-place driver. And Rodriguez Racing has had Anthony Marchese as their lead runner. The guy that was going to try and win today's race. Now Dylan Schwallenberg is out ahead of Anthony Marchese. With 20 laps to go, Dylan Schwallenberg's pulling the gap on Anthony Marchese. Looks like at this point, Anthony Marchese's crew went the wrong way on adjustments or didn't make the right ones as the track developed over time. We're past the 150 lap mark. It would have been Anthony Marchese's race if the race would have ended on lap 100. Instead, we have an extra 50 miles we have to do. And Dylan Schwallenberg and DJ Kurtis, some of the best drivers we have emerged as 1 and 2. Marchese, he's not out of it yet, but he's going to have to get his head right and get his head down and try and chase down the front two. Rodriguez Racing second, third, and fourth. What a great day it is for them. Matthew Rodriguez back in fourth position. Fifth is Eric DeMax. DeMax has been very solid the last handful of weeks. He's in fifth. Lamas is sixth. White is in seventh. And the championship leader may not be the championship leader after this race. Jake Baskinger in 8th place. 9th for Samuel England. And 10th is James Shelley. Outside of the top 10, Peter Onjak is in 11th. What a day for Team Velocity. Team Velocity should be very proud of their young driver, Peter Onjak. They signed Onjak to next season to drive the car for next season. And many people believe that he will be looked at as their lead driver, with Ace Wild also being named as the second driver for that team next season, getting Mitsubishi support. They could be very competitive. Zachary Delio in car 3, running in 12th position, still very good on your debut for CM Racing. What a run for him. Charles Sanford for Red Bull in 13th, Dylan Young in 14th, and then car 8 for Alex Viñaco's in the 15th position, 16th Zayden Davidson, Charlie Smith, Jacob Hart, Joseph Shrigley, Sean Harble. That makes up the top 20. They're a lap down, though. DJ Kurtis, only 2 seconds is he ahead of Dylan Schwallenberg. Schwallenberg is trying with all his might. Peter Onjak passes affiliate teammate. Man, the sister car going right by James Shelley, and Onjak on pace, on raw pace for Team Velocity, has moved his way in the top 10. But as the run has gone along, Peter Onjak's car has faded a little bit, and he drops back to 11th. Last car in the lead lap is Alex Viñaco in 15th position. Dylan Schwallenberg has been closing that gap. 200 miles, and it comes down to this. The white flag is already out for DJ Kurtis. Kurtis in car 19 has dominated today's race with Anthony Marchese. His team gets the better of him on the last pit stop and comes out with the lead. Kurtis takes the checkered flag and wins today's race at Chicagoland. Eric DeMax as well, coming out ahead of Matthew Rodriguez at the very end. What a race for him. Eric DeMax comes out in 4th. Matthew Rodriguez back to 5th. Cody Lamas beating Jake Baskinger to 6th. Baskinger, England, also getting the best of Jeffrey White as White's car faded at the end from 7th to 9th. Baskinger 7th, England. Going to Joseph Shrigley Racing for next season on a loan from Red Bull. And this has got to be a statement made by England to show what he can do in the Sony Cup Series to finish 8th place. Jeffrey White, another good run. He needed that today to show his case for why he deserves to be on the grid for the Sony Cup Series. And James Shelley makes up the top 10 for today's race. Well, Dylan Schwallenberg did all he could. He tried to make up that gap at the very end in a race that was dominated with DJ Kurtis and Anthony Marchese. Kurtis' crew was on it. Got the jump on Anthony Marchese, and they made the right adjustments. Marchese finished 7 seconds back to DJ Kurtis, and they were both equal for a very long time in today's race. Kurtis emerges with the win and closes the championship lead down, but it is Dylan Schwallenberg. Schwallenberg has now taken the championship lead, and this is the first time ever Dylan Schwallenberg has led the championship standings in the Sony Cup Series. And to my reckoning, I think this is the first time ever a Hardy's National Series champion is leading the Sony Cup Series point standings. I believe that is right. I don't think that's happened before. So congratulations, Dylan Schwallenberg is now being the main guy to catch with 11 races to go. DJ Kurtis is now 9 points back to Dylan Schwallenberg, and Jake Baskinger is within 6, I think, or something like that. It is very tight between the top 3, and it's still anyone's game, really. For the Monster Energy Racing boys of Weeks and Johnson finishing 41st and 42nd, they're a long ways back, but you don't want to count them out because they are super quick, and these are the races that they're going to be faring the best if their engine makes it to the end. Well, that was Chicagoland. Let's get you to our finishing results and standings as we head to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for next race.